Look, the Spurs are what we saw in the NBA Finals is not to be ignored. 28 seconds away from a world championship, which is a skip, skip six this time. But they were 28 seconds away from a world championship, and everything that could go wrong did go wrong.
With Heat fans streaming into the night, remember? Leaving the arena.
Leaving.
Wow.
And then Game 7, LeBron just cemented, just put himself in the books for a long time. 37 points performance. It was absolutely sensational on his part. The Spurs, to me, are the best bet to beat the Miami Heat out west. But I don't think they're the best team in the West. I think that Oklahoma City can and would beat the San Antonio Spurs. I think the Clippers would have a tougher time because, again, the Spurs are smart. They play together. They'll foul you. DeAndre Jordan would then be a liability. As a result, Doc Rivers would have to pull him out the game. And then you could have a big baby Davis up in there with with a Blake Griffin. But that's not enough to ward off the Heat. I think the Clippers are formidable. Remember, at the preseason, I picked them to come out of the West. I'm still thinking that's a possibility. But at the same time, I would give Oklahoma City the nod over anybody right now. With the Clippers or the Spurs, you can pick your poison there. I just think that when you look at the rest of the West, however, it's incredibly intriguing because the interesting part is that even though the Spurs are the best opponent for the Miami Heat, there's a whole bunch of teams that could beat the Spurs. Oklahoma City would be favorites. The Clippers are capable of beating them. Golden State can beat anybody if you can't contain Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, okay? Because Klay Thompson can play. Boy, he shoot. And with Iguodala, that's right. And with Iguodala and Andrew Bogut, if they play together and they're both healthy, I was looking at USA Today earlier today. I mean, their record is like 29-13 when both Bogut and Iguodala are healthy and in the lineup. So obviously it buffers them defensively, which gives more opportunities for Steph Curry and Klay Thompson to make some noise. I'm not ignoring Houston, but I just believe that Houston's a year away. I see them going home in the second round. I don't know what could happen to Golden State. Golden State could be home in the first round, but they can go to the conference finals. These boys catch fire. It's real hard. I'm not saying they're going to the Western Conference. I'm just saying they catch fire. It's hard to beat them. It just is.
As a Spurs supporter, I must say, after watching the Rockets last night, they are crazy hot right now. They scare me. They have become a bad matchup for my Spurs. Oklahoma City has always been a bad matchup for my Spurs. For some reason, both those teams play with, and so does, I should throw Portland into this mix. All three of those teams play with extreme confidence against the Spurs because they're so much more athletic. And if they get on rolls shooting the basketball, as we've seen Oklahoma City do against San Antonio, remember Ibaka made, 10 out of 10 that one game, going back a couple of years ago, the turnaround playoff game. Now with Westbrook back, Durant, Ibaka, Reggie Jackson, Jeremy Lamb, it's just so much firepower. The Spurs have a hard time with that. But I'm going to tell you why I'm starting to love my Spurs quietly. And I don't believe, was that a joke? I don't know what that was.
That was what we gave them the option. 74% say Spurs.
Well, listen, the Spurs are a big-time team.
They are becoming a big-time team because they finally got whole. They have not been healthy since the first couple of weeks of the season. I watch them every night, although I had to turn them off in the first quarter last night. I admit it, because they fell behind 23-13 at the quarter last night in Cleveland, then managed to score 37 in the second quarter because their bench is incredibly explosive thanks to Patty Mills, Ginobili. Last night it wasn't Bellinelli, but usually Bellinelli. They have an extraordinary bench. They have the NBA's best road record, I'm going to point out to you. They are the NBA's #1 three-point shooting team. They are best in the West in field goal percentage. They are best in the West in defense, in keeping the opposition from scoring. I love that mix. So I still think they can beat everybody but Oklahoma City. And the only way Oklahoma City will lose to the Spurs, if the KD Westbrook dynamic somehow goes south. And it's always, to me, on hair trigger, and they're still having a little bit of adjustment period here. If they readjust on time, they will be fine. Westbrook is still an injury issue for them that he has not been in the past, but that still hangs fire.
Skip Bayless. I don't know if you've paid attention or not, but the only person who complains about the Spurs is you. No one else does, Skip. Like, for example, they're down, hold on. They're down 23-13 in the first quarter.
13 points in the quarter? Are you kidding?
Skip
That's
turns,
42 for
Skip
the game.
turns it off.
I'm like,
Skip turns it off.
Yeah,
Skip,
I can't watch it.
It's the first quarter.
What do you mean?
It's the first quarter.
That's what Ernestine said.
Who's worried about the Spurs in the first quarter? Only you. Only you. They're injured and they're not healthy and they're not whole in December and January.
And February.
Who worries
They
about
just got Tony Parker back.
Who worries about
They
that?
just got him back.
Skip. Nobody's worried about that, but you.
You got to get your guys back.
Skip. Nobody is worried about the Spurs until
Nobody cares
March,
about the Spurs
until
except for
March
him.
and
What are you
April
talking about?
and May.
You haven't watched 1 minute of Spurs basketball the whole
that is
year.
entirely
and you're
not
Stephen
true.
Naismith, and you have no idea. You can't even name the starters.
Yes, I can. But by the way, Skip, I was there when they obliterated the Knicks on a Sunday afternoon. Don't tell me I haven't seen the Spurs.
That was the first week of the year.
The point that no, it wasn't. But the point that I'm trying to make to you is that they're the Spurs.